Up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with the MLB Power Rankings, Week 13. I'm doing it a little later than usual. I was trying to get that out before the fourth, didn't. After the fourth, crazy fourth. I'm doing it here Tuesday night. And we're going to get into it here. But before we do, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down here and then hit that like button as well. Get us up there. And once again, of course, we're doing our giveaway at 500 subscribers. But let's jump into the video. And at 30, we got the Oakland A's staying here. Their biggest thing, Frankie Montas, what's he going to be? Is he going to be okay for his next start? Is he going to be dealt here this month, with the trade deadline heating up? I'm sure there's going to be lots of news coming for this Oakland team as they have some veteran guys that could get moved. 29th, we got the Cincinnati Reds. They will have veteran guys also getting moved. Luis Castillo is probably one for sure. He's been a really good pitcher this year when he's been on the mound. But other than that, maybe Tommy Pham could be a name that gets moved. But this team's struggling. 4-13 their last 17. ERA, pitching staff is atrocious, worse than the MLB. And they got a tough schedule this week against the Mets, Pirates, and the Rays. Staying put at 28, we got the Nationals. Josh Bell, Nelson Cruz, more than likely those guys will get dealt just because of how bad this team is this year. Juan Soto, he hurt his calf. Luckily, it wasn't anything major. He hasn't started Monday or Tuesday, but he did pinch hit Monday. So he should be good to go. I think they're just playing it super cautious just because, he is Juan Soto, the franchise guy. But they did extend their GM and their manager through 2023. So they're here for another year, and then they'll see how it goes. But they get a rough week facing in Philly and in Atlanta. Those two teams have been hot. 27th, we have the Royals. The young guys have been looking pretty good so far. But obviously having Salvi out 7 weeks hurts. Benintendi, he's been a monster this year. Will they need him at the deadline? That's gonna be a big question. But they have a tough schedule as well, as they're 3 in Houston and then 3 at home against the Guardians. 26, we got the Cubs. Seiya Suzuki is finally back. We'd love to see that. Wilson Contreras, he's probably one of the top names on the trade market right now. In his contract year, just because the Cubs aren't going to compete for a playoff spot. So there's no reason to keep him on the roster. Possibly Marcus Stroman too, just because he's been a rough, this kind of starting pitcher this year. He's been inconsistent. But if he's healthy, I think he will get dealt to a decent team. 25th, we got the Pirates dropping one. They're 8-19 their last 27. 28th in almost every hitting stat. O'Neal Cruz has been the kind of bright light that the Pirates need. They've got some positive news over there. But other than that, it's just been a train wreck season. Tigers, they're moving up one and jumping those Pirates. Riley Green effects, 8-7 since that call up. He also hit that walk-off home run for his first career home run. I was at that game. It was pretty sweet. Miggy, he is on a 12-game win streak now because the Tigers game's already over. So they're also 9-7 as well. They have 6 more games, 2 against Cleveland, 4 against the White Sox. And right now they're on a 3-game win streak, winning 4 out of their last 5. This Tigers team, maybe the page is turning here slow and steady. Rockies, 23rd, staying put. They beat the Dodgers and Arizona last week in their series 2-1. CJ Cron, I think, will be a name floated around at the deadline, depending on what they decide to do there. But they have the best hitting team. But, of course, pitching and cores doesn't really help, and that's why they're in the bottom 3 of all pitching stats. 22nd, we have the Diamondbacks, bottom 10 team in both hitting and pitching, and that's why they find themselves here. If they were in a different division, though, I think it could be different. They are only 8 games behind 500, and, of course, they're in the NL West, a very tough division. And Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly have been a really solid 1-2 punch this year. But the games they're not pitching, it's been a struggle. 21st, we have the Angels, a team that was as high as number 2 this year. Just because of that great start in April. They've lost 4 of their last 5. Ohtani and Trout have been the only bright spots this year. I know Taylor Ward's been good. He was hurt for a little bit. Jared Walsh as well, too. It's just been a struggle this year. They're slowly falling apart. Maybe they'll bring in some vets next year, but right now I think this year it's already a lost cause. And to make matters worse, they got struck out 20 times against Houston in 1 game. Those are things you don't want to see. 20th, we have the Orioles. Not much to be said here, other than they're competing in the AL East. I know that they're 20 games back here, but they've been 12-9 in their last 21, playing good. 2 against Texas and 4 against the Angels. 19th, we have the Texas Rangers, dropping a little bit from 16 to 19. 4 games behind 500. They've lost 4 of their last 5, and it's been struggling. They've been really inconsistent this year, being a really good team above 500 and then floating back to below. They're 14 and a half back from Houston for the AL West lead. They got 5 games this week against Baltimore and then Minnesota. 18th, we have the Miami Marlins. And this is a team that I think could make a surprise run towards that playoff. They currently are on a 6-game win streak now. They did win tonight against the Angels at home. Sandy Alcantara has been a beast. His ERA went down more. Ks went up more. Inning pitches went more. So he's been going off. Jazz Chisholm and Jorge Soler. Will they be activated when first eligible? I believe it's later this weekend. Hopefully they can get one of their two best or two of their better hitters back in the lineup there. Then they have a tough season in New York, or tough series this weekend in New York. 17th, we got the Mariners. They won 6 out of their last 7. But are they down and out? 13 and a half back for the AL West. Personally, I think so. I just think that that's too much. Houston's on a tear. No one's going to slow them down. But this is a good team. Julio Rodriguez is having a great rookie season. And you can see there, he's hitting 275, 15 home runs, 43 RBIs, and it's only going to get better as he goes. But they're hoping to get healthy as well as Kyle Lewis, Mitch Haniger, and Ty France. Hopefully, they're all either back this weekend or early next week. 16th, we got the White Sox sitting here below 500. This has been a disappointment, I guess you could say, with high expectations coming in. They got swept by the Giants, or sorry, they swept the Giants last week in San Francisco. So they might be getting on the right track here, and they could be getting Eloy as well next week. But they're only 5.5 back from Minnesota in the AL Central, and I think that's a huge thing to look at. Is we have more than half of the season left. Giants, they're dropping here to 15th after a very bad week and very bad 2 weeks. They're 3-11 in their last 14, and they went from 3 games back to 9.5 back in the NL West in just in 2 weeks. Life comes at you fast. I just think that once they lost Brandon Crawford, that's kind of when this started to free fall, just because he's that leader, the veteran leadership, and he's a great hitter as well. 14th, we have the Guardians staying put here. 1 game above 500 now after they lost to the Tigers today. So they've lost 5 of their last 6. But I still think there's no reason to panic. They are going to be a good team, especially in the AL Central. I don't think they're, going to essentially get a wild card or anything, but they could win the AL Central, and that's how they get in. But Shane Bieber, he's been good. But other than that, it's been kind of shaky, and especially the bullpen as well. 13th, we got the Phillies moving up, 21-9 in the last 30. Harper, hopefully they get him back middle of August. That's kind of when they're looking for. Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, you can see their stats there. Absolute studs there. It's their 1-2 punch. And they have 6 games this week and a pivotal series against the Cardinals in St. Louis. Those Cardinals are staying at 12 as well. They're 3 games up on the Brewers for the NL Central, but they have lost 4 of their last 5, so they may start to feel a little bit of panic here as they have a tough week ahead of them with some really good teams. 11th, we have the Rays moving up a little bit just because some teams have fallen. Shane McClanahan for Cy Young, I think that's kind of almost a lock right now if he keeps pitching how he is. And this offense really hasn't clicked yet. They're, middle of the pack offensive stat category, but wait till, they get a few guys hot. This offense, especially in the AL East, it'll heat up for sure. 10th, we have the Twins dropping 1. Luis Arraez, he's going off this year, not getting enough credit just because nowadays game is more about power and home runs rather than average and on base percentage. As you can see there, Byron Buxton, he's hitting about 220 with 22 home runs, 40 RBIs, but that's what he's there to do, that and defense. Joe Ryan, he's been having an excellent rookie season as well. 3 ERA, 60 Ks, and 66 innings pitched. And they are on top of the AL Central with a 3.5 game lead on Cleveland. 9th, we have the Blue Jays. They're on a 4-game losing streak. I'm watching them right here. They are also losing in the top of 7, so it could be a 5-game losing streak to the A's. They don't win tonight. Logjam at catcher for sure. All 3 of their catchers have been good. Jansen, he kind of is looking like the odd man out right now, so could he get moved to the deadline for a better position? We'll see. Kevin Gausman back after the All-Star break. That's hopeful as well. And this team had the best average, I believe, in baseball in June of 285. 8th, we have the Red Sox. Their biggest thing moving forward, besides obviously that they have a really good lineup, is the IL, their pitching staff. Chris Sale, hopefully he can come back this weekend. All the other guys you can see there, All-Star break, hopefully. 7th, we have the Brewers making that huge jump up here. and they're most deserving. 13-7 their last 20. 3-game lead on the Cardinals in NL Central after they won a series against them. Freddie Peralta, could he be back sooner than expected? And they have 5 games against divisional opponents this week against the Cubs and the Pirates. Sixth, we have the Padres dropping out of the top 5. Tatis, hopefully he's coming back after the All-Star break to play outfield. That was announced that they want to start him in the outfield, ease him in. But this team's been struggling here in their last 9, 2-7, and they went from I believe it was a 1 game back to 4.5 back from the Dodgers for the NL West lead. How do they get rewarded with 4 games at home against San Francisco this week? And that should be a really good weekend series. Fifth, we have the Atlanta Braves moving into the top 5, 24-7 in the last 31. Definitely the best in baseball, best team in baseball by far in the month of July. Max Fried and Kyle Wright, dogs, combined ERA of 2.80. Dansby Swanson, he's a dog too, having a breakout career year. And they just activated Eddie Rosario and Tyler Matzik from the IL. So they're getting some, key veteran pieces back as well. Fourth, we have the Mets dropping 1. Just because, this team, they've kind of slowly turned it down a little bit here, kind of took the foot off the gas here. So those Braves are creeping up on them as they have a 3.5-game lead on them. But Scherzer, he pitched tonight. DeGrom and Mego, hopefully they're back after the All-Star break, because then you have your full rotation, and it was a very scary rotation as well. Third, we have the Dodgers moving up. Of course, they're, going to float around this top 5 almost the whole year unless, something happens. But they've won 5 of the last 6, so I felt it was right to move them up. They have a 4.5-game lead on the Padres from the NL West. Top 3 team in every stat category. Tony Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson as well have been very well. The veterans have been pitching extremely well. And they have 6 games this week, very favorable games as well, as they should win almost 5 of those 6. Second, we have the Astros, probably the hottest team in baseball currently, 12-2 in their last 14. Jordan, he's putting an MVP type season. JV for Cy Young as well. And then Christian Javier coming out of nowhere after a very, very bad start. Not bad, but you don't really want to look back and be like, but he's found his groove. He had 27 Ks in the last 2 starts, I believe, in 14 innings pitched as well. And they have a very favorable schedule: 3 against Kansas City and then 3 at Oakland. And they could be racking up some wins here this week. And at 1, of course, we have the New York Yankees. They've been the most consistent team in baseball pretty much since the month of April. They've just been dominating. 25-7 in their last 32. Aaron Judge for MVP. That's looking pretty good as well. Him or Jordan. The team ERA of 2.9 blows everyone else out. And I think their biggest question right now heading into July, the middle days of July, is who are they going to add at the deadline? Yankees, they have unlimited money. They'll get somebody. Could it be outfield or catcher? That's their kind of weakness right now. And I think they will, but we're just going to have to wait and see. That's going to be it for the video today. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Let us know what you guys are thinking in the comments, how I ranked them here. But until next time, the Bench Buddies are out.